Hello, and bienvenidos to Pica Poco Kitchen. Today we're making the one, the only, Salsa Macha. Vámonos! I find it funny how men decided to give names to things with masculine attributes without thinking it through. The thing with this particular example, Salsa Macha, which I find pretty funny, is that they were trying to provide this sense of bravery or strength or power by using the term macho, and gave it to a noun like salsa, which is a feminine noun. So that made them to adjust the adjective macho into the female version of that. So salsa macha basically means manly salsa. Has to do with how spicy this salsa is and making it sound like only if you're macho enough or something like that, you're able to handle it, which is boogers. But we're not here to talk about that because that has potential for a conference and we don't have time. We need to do other things today. Anyway, salsa macha is one of those pre-Hispanic recipes. Throughout cultures around the world, people who had peppers, who grew peppers, they dried them for preservation and then experimented using them in different ways for recipes, which led to recipes like this one. Originally from Veracruz and Oaxaca, it traces back to Huastecan cultures, Toltecan and Olmeca cultures. We don't have the actual OG recipe, but we know that the same concept has been just adapted to different regions. For example, right now we're all enamored with Korean, Chinese, Japanese food, and if you are a fan of chili crunch, this is basically the Mexican version. The only difference lies on the type of pepper used for each one. Chili crunch will normally have Japanese peppers or Szechuan peppers like Erjiantiao or Chaotianyao or Tianzin, whereas the Mexican version may have many different peppers, but most commonly, even though not uniquely, chile de árbol. Chile de árbol is one of my favorite dried peppers because it's high in heat, high in flavor. It is actually from Yahualica, Jalisco, which, by the way, Jalisco, especially Puerto Vallarta, stay strong. Everything's gonna go back to normal. I send all the love to you. And has designation of origin. Chile de árbol gets its name because the plant where it grows, it's taller than regular plants, so it can be determined or assigned as a tree. It grows in vines, very thin vines. It's green when it comes out. It turns red when it ripens and deeper, darker red once it's dried. So salsa macha is not for everybody, especially if you don't enjoy very spicy food. Now, don't go anywhere. Because even if you're not a spicy person, well, you might be a spicy person, just don't enjoy spicy food, you know what I mean? Stick around because salsa macha has basic elements that I'm gonna break down for you because it's so versatile that you can adjust, change, modify to make it to your liking. And also, even if you really don't like spicy foods, I know you know somebody who does. So maybe surprise them with it. I don't know. Maybe you'll make it and you'll enjoy it and you'll change your point of view on spicy foods. Who knows? The thing is, let's get to the ingredients so I can break it down for you. The base of the salsa is oil. The two most common ones would be a vegetable oil or an olive oil. I personally prefer it because of the flavor, but if you prefer to go for a vegetable oil, that will be fine, and even a seed oil if that's what you use at home. On the pepper section, like I told you, most commonly you'll find chile de árbol as the main ingredient, which is also my personal favorite. But you will see that some people like to mix and match, add or substitute one pepper for the other. But amongst the other additional peppers, you can find your good old friend guajillo pepper, which will make it less spicy. So maybe you want to give it a try by only using guajillo and maybe just a couple of árbol just to get the similar sensation or the similar profile. You can do that. Some people like to use ancho. I like to use ancho just to give a deepness, a smokiness, another level of flavor. Other people might use morita or chipotle, which are some of the same branch, but you can find, like I told you, so many different variations of peppers depending on the region, so you can play around with that. On the nut section, I have two nuts right here. The most common one will be peanuts that you can even find in chili crunch because peanuts go perfect with spicy foods. Another one that I will highly suggest not to skip would be sesame seeds. Sesame seeds get this toasty, nutty, warm flavor that I think if you can keep it, keep it. Other people like to use different nuts. I prefer to keep my salsa simple, but you can find pumpkin seeds, pine nuts, sunflowers, a mix of them. So, like I said, what you have at home, what you like, do that. For the spices, salt and pepper, of course. One that I like to preserve is garlic. Garlic for me is an absolute must. From there on, it's optional depending on what you want. Some people like to add onions to that. Some people like to add some oregano or oregano, however you want to say it. Some people like to use actual Mexican peppers, which if you can get those, they're always going to be preferable than regular pepper. And some people like to use cumin. It's not me. You know, I'm not a big fan of cumin. And those are going to be your basics or your musts. From there on, there are two other elements that you can use or skip. It's going to depend on the uses you are planning to give to this salsa. For me, that's good enough, but you can take it a higher level and go for acids in the form of vinegars. White vinegar, apple cider vinegar, or even rice vinegar. I've seen some people use that, so it's going to be up to you. Sugars. Sugar for balance. Now, I want my salsa to be what it's meant for, to spice up, to kick you in the butt. You know what I mean? So I stay away from the sugar, but it's another invitation if you're just getting your feet into the spicy world, then maybe add some sugar for balance in the form of straight white sugar, brown sugar. Piloncillo would be a good one, or in the form of dry fruits like cranberries or raisins. Ugh, I don't know who would do that, but some people do. Anyway, so these are the basics. For mine, I'm gonna keep it super, super simple. I like mine to be just as pure as I can get it. So, simple recipe, fast and forward. Let's get to that. We're gonna start by toasting our tablespoon of sesame seeds and teaspoon of peppercorns. If you're able to get some Mexican peppercorn, that would be better. And then you would be using around 6 of them. In a hot pan, you're gonna toast your seeds and peppers and toss them around until they start to get toasty. You can smell the nuttiness and they change to a slightly golden color. Be careful because, as you can see, in a hot pan, the sesame seeds will jump off. We're going to do the same with a quarter of a cup of peanuts. I'm choosing to keep my nuts and seeds on a smaller amount, but you can adjust to your liking. I'm also going to just give them a toss, and once I start smelling toasty peanut butter, I'm gonna take them out. And now for the frying. I have 1 cup of olive oil in medium heat. Make sure to stay between 325 and 350 Fahrenheit. And to that I'm gonna add 20 Árbol peppers. For those, I just made sure they didn't have any stems on them. And 1 Ancho Pepper. For my Ancho Pepper, I made sure to clean it, deseed it, devein it, and take off the stem. Now using my kitchen shears, I'm just gonna give it a rough chop because it tends to be tougher than the Árbol pepper, so I'm just trying to give a head start to my food processor. As soon as your peppers hit the oil, it's gonna take less than 2 minutes. So toss them around a little bit, and as soon as they change color and start puffing up, take them out. I sped this part of the video, but I swear it was around 1.5 minutes from the moment I put them in the oil and took them out. In the same oil, I'm gonna give a quick fry to the peanuts for around 10 seconds, not more. Once that time has gone by, I'm gonna turn the heat off and remove my pot from the heat. Off the stove, and with the remaining heat, I'm gonna add the sesame seeds that I toasted before. I'm also gonna add 4 cloves of garlic, because at this point in my life, I only own garlic clove that is already been chopped. I'm adding it at this point. But because I know you're smarter than me, add your full garlic cloves alongside the peppers. Back in the food processor where I transfer my peppers, I'm gonna add my peppercorns and season. Because of the strong flavor of the peppers and the fat from the oil, you may need to add a little bit more salt than what you think. Give it a good chop, and once all the pieces are small and even, we're gonna add them back into the oil. Give it a mix, give it a taste, adjust seasoning if necessary, jar, and you're good to go. And here we go. Smells so much milder than what you would expect. The kick is there, don't be fooled about that, but it's toasty, it's inviting. I love it. Okay, you can use it for the same applications. You can add it to soups, you can add it to your tacos, to your sopes, you can add it to your dish in general just to give it a kick. You can even use it for marinades. I will say go light and then add some of the acids that we were talking about, some of the sweets. You can even make your marinade with a citrus base like orange. Add some of this and that will make a killer marinade. It goes great with meat, with pork, with seafood. It really is that versatile. That's why I love this salsa. It's one of those staples that you have there, and when something is feeling kind of lacking, that's a place for a little bit of salsa macha. Another application that you can give it, if you're the kind of person that just keeps the spicy food for certain occasions, there's a very simple spread that you can do with it. I have just like a little bit of cream cheese right here. It's a little bit room temp. And we are going to add some honey to it. Again, for balance, so people have like a little bit of a warning or a little bit of a cushion so they don't fall into the darkness. Let's give it a little mix. Whoops. You can even add a little bit of cranberries here and there. I'm not gonna go too crazy because This is a small batch. And then we go with the salsa. Gosh, this is gonna be good. Make sure to get a little bit of everything and let's give it a go. The spiciness is there, the sweetness, the honey, brighten it up. Very pleasant, not too crazy spicy. Okay, but now let's give it a try on its own. I really want to see the full mouthful of the peppers and the nuts. Let's see how it goes. I'm scared. It grounds you, connects you with your roots. You know, it's spicy. And this would be the perfect example if somebody comes to you and tells you, oh, don't worry, pica poco. Ron, that pica poco doesn't mean what you think it means. So be careful with it. And there you have it. I really hope you make it. I really hope you create your own, share it, love it, snack on it, just have it around. I hope you enjoyed this recipe just like this video, and if you did, please share it with your friends. Like, subscribe, and be notified. And for more, follow me on the socials. Adios, amigues.